creates mismatch problems for the defense. Is he going to line up outside? Is he going to line up inside? So far, nobody has had an answer on how to cover this guy, Chris, but the 49ers believe they've got the solution.
The 49ers think they have it all wrapped up here. Julian Peterson, who did such an outstanding job earlier this season against Tony Gonzalez, is going to get the assignment against Shockey. But clearly this game falls in the hands of Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia has a big advantage in this ball game in that he is a mobile quarterback. And if the Giants have struggled with anything during the course of this season on the defensive side, it's been with quarterbacks that can move around and make plays. And of course, Garcia is going to have Terrell Owens back at his disposal. Terrell should be healthier than he's been in a long, long time. We're ready to go, Joe Buck. Let's tee it up.
The left ankle. Jeff Chandler is taped. His foot was on ice. Kind of like a Rodney Dangerfield Caddyshack moment before the game. Oh, my arm. He twisted his ankle, and, you know, that's a big, big situation for the 49ers. We'll see how he gets along today, but you'd have to believe he'll be counted on heavily by San Francisco before the end of the game. Not a bad opening kickoff. Delvin Joyce got out to the 24, and that's where this red-hot Giants offense will start with it. The offensive line, which is just getting better and better and better, with Chris Bober in the middle. Rosenthal and Pettigrew are the tackles. And then you've got the skill positions in the big three. Tiki Barber at running back, Amani Toomer at wide receiver, Jeremy Shockey at tight end, and Ron Dixon is back after missing 4 weeks after knee surgery. Enjoy the game. First throw is complete, and it's Tiki Barber out of the backfield. And he falls forward, brought down right at the first down marker. It depends on the spot. Barber is brought down, even though he still wants to run, and why not? Proving to everybody that his back's okay. Left practice early on Friday. The defensive line, they allowed only 43 yards rushing in the first meeting when they took on the Giants on that Thursday to open the season. The linebackers, they ask a lot of Derek Smith because of injuries. He's on the field all day. And the defensive backs, watch out Mike Rumpf. They're going to come at you today. Playing in place of the injured Jason Webster out with a left ankle sprain. Second down and 1. Barber ahead for a first down.
And I think that's been the criticism coming into this game, that other than that game he had against Minnesota in 2000, he's not played well in playoff games.
On 1st and 10, there's Shockey's first catch of the day. And Chris, Jeremy Shockey told us yesterday, I'm not going to open my mouth. I'm not going to start yapping until our offense starts rolling, and we'll see if he was telling us the truth.
Well, and Julian Peterson kind of popped off a little bit earlier in the week, saying that sometimes Shockey's emotions can work against him if you get some negative plays. Well, that time those two were matched up one-on-one, and Shockey got the better of him. Right there, Jeremy Shockey.
Second down and 6. Big hole right up the middle, and that's Tiki Barber. Brought down about a yard shy of a first down. That offensive line, you've got 3 guys in the middle, all undrafted street free agents out of college. You got a first rounder in Luke Pettigrew, who was considered average coming into this year at left tackle, and Mike Rosenthal, who the Giants have been trying to get rid of for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and the guy who's probably helped solidify that group this season has been their center, Chris Bober, who had been a tackle, and he came in and started playing the center position when Dusty Ziegler went down, and he's had a good solid year for him.
Third down and 1. That's a first down. Tiki Barber enough, plowing straight ahead. Tony Parrish, the safety, up to make the stop. First down, Giants.
Yeah, and right behind the group you just talked about, Rich Seibert up front, Chris Bober, Jason Whittle. Those guys combined, their signing bonus was probably about $1.50. They haven't been very good on occasion when these two teams got together the first time. But since we watched that tape, and now we went back and watched them the last couple of weeks, the improvement has been so dramatic in those 3.
On first down, more from Tiki Barber, and this time he's stopped at the line. Derek Smith the linebacker in to make the stop.
Joe, you mentioned the lack of success that the Giants had in their first meeting trying to run the football, and the Giants are very aware of that. They're going to try to run the football. They got to stay somewhat committed to it. They don't want the big pass rush off the corner from these 49ers, but deep down they realize that if they're going to have some success, they're going to have to be able to make some plays in the passing game.
One of the fastest defenses in the league. The 49ers line up on 2nd down and 9. That's Barber. He's been busy, and he's able to tap dance down the sideline for another first down. Boy, he's good along the sideline where he just does not go out of bounds. And time after time squeezes an extra 3 or 4 yards out of a play.
Yeah, he's very good at that. And this is a matchup that the 49ers would like. And they got Tony Parrish who's working against him, but Tiki Barber able to make him miss and still get a few more yards. And Tony Parrish, what a great addition he's been for this defense this season. Of course, he was in Chicago last year, came here as an unrestricted free agent, and has done everything and more that this team had hoped he would.
Ron Dane in the backfield now on 1st down. And a throw and a catch. And if somebody catches it and his name's not Barber or Shockey, you know his name will be Toomer.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised there in that you had Ron Dixon on the outside working against Mike Rumph, and there's no question that there's a weakness in the secondary for the 49ers. It is Mike Rumph, but Kerry Collins was telling us yesterday that, hey, I don't care. Amani Toomer is my guy, and I'll take Amani Toomer on their best guy, Ahmed Plummer, anytime.
This drive started at the New York 24. Now at the San Francisco 33 on 2nd down. That's tipped again, and picked off. Peterson. Off the hands of Ron Dane and eventually into the arms of Julian Peterson. No score, 10-10 left in the first quarter. Now the 49ers start with it from their own 24. That's Terrell Owens. That's Terrell Owens. That's a touchdown, San Francisco, no flags.
Well, I guess his groin as well.
2 weeks off will do that for it. Here's a look at it. Jeff Garcia was hoping to come out in 3 wide set. They do to open up the ball game. They got Terrell Owens on the outside. He breaks the tackle, and once he gets out in front, there's no chance of running him down.
For the 49ers, their second longest play in playoff history, 76 yards on the first throw from Garcia. Terrell Owens into the end zone. Line drive kick. This is Darryl Jones. Some room up the middle, and Jones with a nice return gets it out to the 36-yard line.
Well, on that last play, here's what Jeff Garcia wanted to start the game with, was with 3 wide receivers. He was able to get that in. He felt that that would then spread the defense out and give him some room to operate.
You know, all we heard yesterday was, all we want is T.O. one-on-one. Will Allen and Will Peterson, they're good enough one-on-one. Just leave us alone. We're going to get the job done. And the very first opportunity, Will Allen just bounces off of him. But I really think you've got to go back to, why was Ron Dane in the ball game on the interception? Tiki Barber is your guy. Why are you throwing the football to Dane?
Terrell Owens with the ball in his hands, just deadly. From their own 36, Barber trying to get to the edge. Gets out near the 40, forced out by Bronson, a gain of 4.
And also on the flip side, I think now you have to go after what the 49ers are worried about, and that's Mike Rumph on the outside. We have seen game after game this season, Troy, where Mike Rumph has been abused. There hasn't been one throw his way yet.
Well, and what they're trying to do is they are shadowing Ahmed Plummer with Amani Toomer. He will travel with him all day long and try to only keep Mike Rumph on Ron Dixon. Although here Mike Rumph is isolated on Jeremy Shockey down here on the bottom.
Collins looks that way and finds the big tight end. And a first down inside San Francisco territory.
Well, I think that's the problem. When you spread out Jeremy Shockey, how exactly is the defense going to try to defense it? They go to a rolled-up coverage with Mike Rumph, hoping he gets safety help, but you can't just let the guy run inside like that when you've got to get in on technique-wise, and Jeremy Shockey is able to do that.
But there's no way Mike Rumph can possibly hold up Jeremy Shockey. Get back to that formation. Keep picking on him.
Well, that's why they're giving him safety help.
First down Giants, and the throw to Stackhouse, the fullback. Kerry Collins, I mean, here's Collins again. He throws an interception, but it bounced right off the hands of Rondane, and so far it's been a pretty hot start for Collins.
Well, they moved the ball the first time they played, and we don't want to keep going back to that game, but Kerry Collins threw the ball very well. He did have the 3 interceptions in that game, but 2 of them were not his fault. Of course, he has the one on the first drive. That one was not his fault either. The Giants have been able to move the football here on their first 2 possessions.
Second down and 5. Tiki Barber to the left. Slips. Third down and 5 coming up.
The 49ers have been the worst third down defense in football. Let's see how they do here.
Third and 5. Collins with time, throws, and it's nearly picked off again. And again, it's Peterson.
Doing push-ups. Well, that time they were just all over Jeremy Shockey, and we saw Kerry Collins do this last week as well. He tries to force it in there. Ronnie Hurd just gave Shockey a shot, and when you see the double team, Kerry Collins has to be disciplined enough to come off and find another receiver.
Now the first punt of the day from Matt Allen. Best thing you can say about Matt Allen as a punter is that he's a good holder. This one he hangs up high, and a fair catch called for right at the 10. 7-0 49ers, and San Francisco has the ball at their own 10. First play was pretty good. 76 yards on a touchdown throw and catch with Owens. Look that way again and comes back across the middle to his tight end Eric Johnson, who they will plan to feature a lot today. All right, JB, so the comeback player of the year in the NFL, Tommy Maddox, leads the comeback. This is Kevin Barlow. And Barlow is out of bounds with a first down. We have not even shown you the faces of the players who are stuffed into those helmets. And now you get to look at them. A couple of Pro Bowlers in the middle and a rookie, a 7th-round pick, Eric Heitman. Ron Stone and Scott Gregg, a couple of ex-Giants, the backs and receivers. You just saw Kevin Barlow. He splits the work with Hurst. Beasley, a terrific fullback. Owens, Ty Streets, and Eric Johnson, the tight end, who they will keep busy today. 3 wide receivers on first down, and it's Barlow. So they spread him out and run the ball with Barlow. And a gain of 4 on the play. Defensively, 3 straight weeks up front, the group has held 3 very good running backs to small days. Emmitt Smith, 11 carries, 32 yards. Edgerrin James, 10 carries, 13 yards. And Staley only had 28 last week. The defensive backs, they love their corners. Peterson and Will Allen. Stoudemire was in the face quite a bit of Terrell Owens in that first meeting at Giant Stadium. Second and 7. There's Garcia stepping up. And off the hands of Garrison Hurst, third down coming up. The best this season on third down, penalty flag before the play. Not only the best this season, but the second best ever. Ron Winter is our referee today.
False start. Number 81 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
I know, Troy, you love that when wide receivers start too soon.
Yeah, I love it a lot. I used to have a lot of fun with it when I was playing. I just don't understand a wide receiver jumping off sides. All I got to do is look down at the ball, and it must be harder than I think. Chris, is it?
It really is, and because we're so focused on trying to make you glory quarterbacks look good, that sometimes we lose our focus.
Third and 12. Giants with pressure. Beasley on the catch and forced out of bounds way short of a first down by Peterson. Time to punt. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
All right, Joe Buck, we got a minor situation down here. Jeremy Shockey getting a lot of attention even when he's not on the field. Seems that a cup of ice was thrown by Shockey. He threw it over his shoulder and it came close enough to hitting some fans. A police officer had to come down to get between Shockey and the crowd, and they're trying to settle down the crowd now. The Giants PR staff and the Giants security staff is on it right now, but Shockey seems to be totally out of his game right now. Even though he is on the bench, you can see he's frustrated, he's mad, and the situation's getting out of control before they've had an opportunity to do something on the field. Back to you.
All right, Pam. Delvin Joyce on the return. Got it up. As much as Jeremy Shockey scoffed at the newspaper reports detailing Julian Peterson talking about throwing Shockey off his game by being physical with him, keeping your hands on him down the entire field, throwing him around a little bit. A little incident on the sideline. It looks like Shockey's been bothered, and penalty flags on the play.
Well, and this week in practice, as we'll take a look at the face mask penalty, the 49ers had a guy named Brian Jennings who was imitating Jeremy Shockey. And not only did he push off and shove and do all that, he was talking trash out there. He was telling Tony Parrish, you're a one-armed gimp, and I'm no Tony Gonzalez. You can't cover me. And so they would practice on the sort of trash talking that he was going to do.
Rumph lined up across from Shockey, and where does Kerry Collins look? Right at Shockey and Rumph, and another completion. Second down and 4. Tiki Barber gets to the 40, about 2 yards shy of a first down.
Now, I really think the storyline that's developing here in the first quarter of this ball game is that the 49ers defensive front, they're winning the battle so far, and the Giants have been tremendous running the football last couple of weeks. Tiki Barber, career high over 200 yards last week against a great Philadelphia defense, and yet the front seven for the 49ers are taking it to the Giants right now.
3rd and 2. Toss to Barber. Blocking in front of him, and a first down for the Giants. For the 3rd possession, the Giants have been able to move the ball into San Francisco territory, but so far they've been held off the scoreboard.
Well, the Giants coming in have been very concerned about Bryant Young in the interior defensive line getting pressure. So what they want to try to do when they run the football is get Tiki Barber to the outside, and they're hoping that when they start him on the outside sweeps that it will create some cutback lanes, much like he had last week against Philadelphia. That time he was able to just stay out on the corner.
Again, Rumph is lined up across from Shockey at the top of your screen. And that's right where Collins goes and overthrows him.
Well, a little bit of a bait that time by the 49ers. They made it look like it was going to be bump and run man-to-man coverage out on the outside with Rumph. And then Tony Parrish at the snap of the ball went sprinting over the top. As soon as he gets the release, Kerry Collins is thinking he might have a one-on-one situation, but you'll see Tony Parrish coming into the picture late, so if he'd laid it up, would have taken a pretty good shot.
Well, you can see the technique there by Mike Rumph and how he just got beat off the line. There are going to be very few occasions today where he is not getting safety help over the top.
On second down, the pass is complete to Toomer, and a first down inside the 20.
Yeah, that's Amani Toomer again on Ahmed Plummer, but the protection up front, this is something this offensive line does a great job of, is pass protection. They've gotten better as the year has gone along, and it's not coincidence that Kerry Collins in the last several weeks has improved throwing the football. And of course, when you got a guy like Amani Toomer on the other end of it, a big guy who's able to use his body to shield defenders, that helps.
3 wide receivers, and they hand the ball off to Barber. And there's nowhere to go.
Well, if Jeremy Shockey is wanting to have a big day today, the best thing that could happen to him is to have Amani Toomer catch a couple of balls early on. Because if Ahmed Plummer can't handle Amani Toomer by himself, now they're going to have to start to alternate their double coverage. Whether you take Toomer on the outside, whether you take Shockey on the inside, but Toomer has to make some plays in order to open up Shockey.
Yeah, and I think the Giants very much welcome this matchup against Amani Toomer and Ahmed Plummer.
They're at the top of the screen on 2nd and 9. Over the middle. The pass too high. And through the arms of Shockey.
Yeah, and Kerry Collins, I mean, he threw him a fastball right there, and sometimes you have to do that. I don't know that he did there, and sometimes when you start throwing the ball with that kind of velocity, the ball's going to come up. It's a very tough catch for Shockey right there. It's coming through defenders. He doesn't get a chance to really pick up the football until it's already on him. Of course, we saw the interception earlier, similar to that with Ron Dane.
Well, John Engelberger had a pretty good hold on him going across there, too, but that's a play Shockey needs to make.
This season, the lowest touchdown percentage in the NFL for the Giants. Inside the red zone. 3rd and 9. The pass is complete. And welcome back, says Kerry Collins, to Ron Dixon. And what a weekend for him to show up, missing the last 4 games after knee surgery.
Yeah, and that time they get Ahmed Plummer on Ron Dixon because they were rolling on the other side. And Dixon, what he brings to the table is he brings some speed. And you can see that Ahmed Plummer is respecting that, playing him soft, giving him the outside throw.
1st and goal. Penalty flags as there was movement on the line. Looked like the left side of the offensive line, whether the guard Cyber to the tackle Pettigrew, started too soon.
False start. Number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Luke Pettigrew.
Well, Troy, if you remember last week, the Giants started the same sort of way. They came down the field, threw an interception on their first possession, came back, dropped some center snaps and shotgun snaps. So they started each of the last 2 weeks a little shaky.
10th play of the drive with 30 seconds left in the 1st quarter. End zone over everyone. Toomer, the intended receiver.
Well, this time they split out Jeremy Shockey out wide as a wide receiver, and he's matched up again with Mike Rump right here, and he runs a fade route and he gets by him. Rump lets him go. Of course, part of that is that he saw the ball being thrown, but at the same time, that's a matchup that favors Jeremy Shockey. Of course, we saw what happened last week when they tried putting a safety on him. Kerry Collins has got to see that and take advantage of it.
That was a matchup against Dawkins. 2nd and goal. Now they go up top to Toomer. Fights for the ball and has it for a touchdown.
Well, the Giants fans are here, but they're all in the cheap seats over there. But so far, Amani Toomer has just taken it to Ahmed Plummer, and Troy, that's been the key so far.
Well, this is good play calling by Jim Fossil. On the play before, they throw the fade. This time they throw the fade stop. Kerry Collins realizes Ahmed Plummer's on his upfield shoulder, throws it on his back shoulder, and that's a very difficult play to defense for a corner.
Matt Bryant, a GOAT and a hero last week, ties the game. Retaping the ankles of Jeremy Shockey. The offense for the Giants just dominating time of possession. 11 minutes 45 seconds compared to the 49ers 2 minutes 57 seconds, as the 1st quarter has only 18 seconds left in it. 7-7 game. Bryant will kick it away. Vinny Sutherland, just re-signed, was with the 49ers a year ago, gets it out to the 28.
A couple of plays ago, Andre Carter got the best of Luke Pettigrew. Watch how Pettigrew gets him back. Yeah, Mike Tyson would have been proud of that one.
Deacon Jones move right there.
Wow. That's what set up the touchdown pass. You know, one way or another, Troy, on those quick throws, you got to get those guys' arms down. A lot of people like to chop the legs. Some people like to take the right hook.
Luke Pettigrew and the offensive line catching their breath, watching the defense go to work. Starting at their own 28 with 11 seconds left in the 1st quarter of the 49ers. Garcia steps up and throws it to no one in particular.
One of the main focuses for this Giants defensive line today is that they want to compress the pocket. Michael Strahan feels that Garcia watches him on the pass rush, that he makes a violent move to the outside, Garcia steps up. If he makes a violent move to the inside, Garcia likes to step up and then move around him to the outside. So he's going to try and bluff him a little bit, but mostly they just want to squeeze him and keep him in the pocket. Don't let him move around.
Second and 10. That's Hurst. And that's a pickup of 2. And that's the end of the first quarter. As we start the second quarter, 7-7 game. On a third down throw, it's batted up, and Kenny Holmes trying to get to it before it hits the grass. Cannot. And it's time for the 49ers to punt.
Yeah, and Kenny Holmes, he came here from Tennessee. He had struggled last season. He'd been struggling early in this season, and the Giant coaches were wanting to get a little bit more out of him. But here in the last couple of weeks, he has really elevated his play and done a nice job. In fact, he's got 3 sacks in the last couple of games and has made his presence known. And the coach has been very pleased with the way he has played. And in fact, this entire defense has played well.
Bill LaFleur with a good punt. Delvin Joyce from inside the 25. They like this guy. And the little man gets it out near the 39-yard line. This is our little perch here. What do they call this place? Is this not? It's not that other name. It's not really Candlestick Park.
It'll always be Candlestick to me.
You played some big ones here.
Yeah, we had quite a few. Some good matchups against these 49ers.
Yeah, we lost a couple of times.
Yeah, I was going to say. You watched some big ones from out of here, Chris.
I did, yeah. A lot of good TV games there.
I think the one thing you can take out of the first quarter is that the Giants offensively, even with the turnover, and they survived 4 turnovers a week ago at home in the win against Philly to get to this point, they're still able to move the ball, and they've been moving it. Every time they've touched it, the turnover stopped them their first time. This is Barber, and he's got this side of the field wide open. Tiki Barber out of bounds inside the 35. They'll mark him out at the 32.
Well, this is what makes Tiki Barber so special, is this entire left side of the offensive line. Luke Pettigrew is going to collapse Andre Carter. That gives Tiki Barber the cutback, coming back to the left, outside, outrunning everybody. Here's a better look at it. Luke Pettigrew along with Jeremy Shockey, and because they collapse that right side of the defensive line, gives Tiki Barber a tremendous amount of room to run.
18th play inside San Francisco territory in this game for New York, and more running room on the left side for Barber. That last play, by the way, 29 yards from a guy who ended up number 2 in the NFC in rushing yards with 1,387. And right now, Tiki Barber is number 2 on the all-time Giants total yardage list, right behind Frank Gifford, in front of Rodney Hampton and Dave Meggett.
And 91st downs leads the NFC. He just keeps moving those chains.
Second down and 5. Collins, Shockey, hands on, still rolling, down to the goal line, not in, but brought down right at the goal line, and Shockey is talking now.
And you know what? At the end of that play, Jeremy Shockey intentionally went after Julian Peterson. I thought he could have had a touchdown, but he saw number 98 over there and headed straight for him to try and knock him back into the end zone. Here's just one-on-one, exactly what they were hoping for. Julian Peterson, they thought they could get him. Look at him. He just goes right after Peterson, spins, and comes right back into him to give him a shot.
He is a beauty. First and goal, and a good play up front by the 49ers. Loss on the play of 1 as Tiki Barber's brought down immediately.
Well, he's able to get off the line of scrimmage against Julian Peterson, and here's the catch, and you just can't throw a shoulder in on Jeremy Shockey. He has shown that time after time. You've got to wrap him up, and you're absolutely right, Chris. He looks for contact. And right now, you talk about getting the Giants motivated. This crowd right now is in a frenzy.
Somewhere, Mike Ditka and Jackie Smith are smiling. Second down and goal. Collins looking for him. have him fight for it, and he has another. It was Parrish who was in front of him, may have jumped too soon. And just like a week ago against Dawkins, there's Shockey coming down with a jump ball for a touchdown.
Jim Mora Jr. told us yesterday that he likes Tony Parrish on Jeremy Shockey, feels that he could cover him very well. But as you mentioned, this is just like last week in the matchup with Brian Dawkins. He is such a physical player and such a big target that if you get the ball up, it's like playing basketball. He goes after the football, and there's not many DBs that can compete with him.
To make it a 7-point lead, it's Bryant, and it's 14-7. Well, if Amani Toomer scared Jim Mora Jr. more than Shockey coming into this game, I would imagine the opinion has changed over on that 49er sideline.
I think Jim Mora is a believer right now.
High kickoff from Bryant, and Paul Smith takes it. Gets to the 30 and beyond.
But there are guys that are out there like Michael Strahan, like Jeremy Shockey, who are just passionate about the game, and they're really fun to watch.
That's Barlow. And one thing you would have to believe, Troy, is the 49ers can't get away from what they do, and that is run the football. And that's really how they come into this game, thinking they can run the football against the Giants defense.
Yeah, and I think that's a point of frustration for Jeff Garcia. You're right that they have really gone through this entire season saying we're going to establish the running game, and they've been able to do that. And the passing game actually is ranked 14th in the National Football League, which is very unusual for a 49er offense. And I think Garcia would like to see them open things up more than what they have.
Garcia just changed the play at the line. 2nd down and 8, and that's Terrell Owens. Makes a quick spin move and hops out of bounds with a 1st down. And then a hit on the sideline, but no flag. Omar Stoudemire, who was one of 3 Giants players fined for trash talking and the like after that first game, was over there with a late hit.
Well, Jeff Garcia with an audible because the safety's going to sneak up here, and now he knows he has one-on-one coverage on the outside with Terrell Owens. Checks off to the plate. That's all the 49ers want, one-on-one situations where he gets a chance to work against any quarterback in the league.
Well, Johnny Lynn told us yesterday he will not be afraid to play him one-on-one.
Garcia sprints out to the left, and he'll just tuck it and run. And he gets collared, brought down with a 1st down. Kenny Holmes all the way out there to make the tackle.
You know, and at practice on Friday out there, they ran this play a couple of different times. It's a defense for the Giants that sometimes the ends will start crashing a little too hard. And so when they start doing that, Kenny Holmes crashing, trying to get involved in the run, then you come out with the naked on the backside with the quarterback. As you see right here, Kenny Holmes, he collapses. So you come back out, and there's a keeper the whole way. He's got Derek Deeks out in front of him blocking.
49ers inside Giant territory, down by 7. Garcia lets it go, and it's incomplete. Off the hands of Eric Johnson. 2nd and 10. Dominating the clock are the Giants. 2nd down and 10. That's Hurst running right up the middle, and a nice gain on 2nd down. It'll bring up 3rd after a pickup of 4.
Yeah, the one thing in this organization, and I think with these fans, they're so used to having Bill Walsh's offense, and which is a throw-first offense and then run. I'm not sure that they can really appreciate the balance of Steve Mariucci, nor will they ever appreciate it. They like to see the football thrown around, thrown down the field, and that's not really what this offense is all about.
Terrell Owens there.
3rd down and 6. Garcia steps up. Going to try to run for it, and he'll make it for a 1st down.
You're going to see Michael Strahan. He said that when he rushed the passer, he wanted to be able to keep even leverage and try to keep Garcia from going outside. He does that, but they don't get any pressure up in front, and so Garcia is able to step up inside, and then once he gets outside is when he creates problems for a defense. Picks up a lot of yards on that scramble.
Donovan McNabb, Steve McNair, running quarterbacks have been giving this Giants defense fits all season.
The Giants really don't spy on the quarterback. They did not have that in their plan. Owens looking to throw. He has a man. The catch is made. Streets is hoping to get away, but can't. First and goal.
Well, Will Allen, who got burned for the touchdown early in the game, gets burned on this one as well. He reacts up to the reverse by Owens and allows Streets to get in behind him.
Well, they had run the fake reverse earlier and handed it to the tailback. That time they run the reverse, but rather than Terrell Owens running it, which normally a team will do the first time, they come off of that with the reverse pass. Good call by Greg Knapp.
First and goal. Garcia flushed again. To the end zone. Brought down just shy of the goal line.
Strahan, he's going to come. This time he takes an inside rush, and that allows Jeff Garcia to get back outside, and that's the one thing that he did not want to have happen, although Cornelius Griffin was looping back out, hoping to get there as well to contain him, but he didn't get there in time.
And he's not Michael Vick, but he's sure giving this Giants defense a headache.
Not able to get in is Beasley.
But Troy, that goes back to what Strahan knew from watching the films, that Garcia watches him on the outside, and if he's going to crash in, he's coming out. If he's going up the field, he's going to duck under and then come back out. So right now, Jeff Garcia outmatching Michael Strahan, even though Strahan knows exactly what's going on.
Right, and Michael Strahan told us that if he's going to make that inside move, he may look over at Cornelius Griffin and say, hey, cover me on the outside. Griffin tried on that last play, but was just unable to get there.
Third and goal. That's Barlow. No sign. And they're going to mark him just shy of the goal line.
That's one you may want to think about reviewing. I really don't think the line judge on the side had any sort of view as to what happened. The umpires in this league cannot call a touchdown. This is the line judge's view, so you can see it's just a mass of bodies in there. But you look at the football, and to me, it looked pretty clear that it was on the line for a touchdown.
Well, Terrell Owens is begging the sideline to throw the challenge flag.
I don't think there's any question that's a touchdown. And Steve Mariucci has the flag in his hand. Watch this throw. Here we go. Kind of a weak throw, but
that wasn't.
Got the point across.
There's no weight in it. There's no weight in that flag. It's like a bandana.
Yeah, but he was a college quarterback and a good one. All-American, two-time All-American, and just, yeah, that was lame.
I would hope it doesn't have a weight because that was bad.
Well, it looks as if Ron Winter is over there questioning Mariucci, questioning the call, and you could see Mariucci saying, I'm challenging the spot of the football, and it certainly looked to us like Barlow got across.
You know, it's always hard to tell where the knee was it down, but it looked like being on top of the player.
San Francisco has challenged the ruling on the field, but the runner was down by contact short of the goal line.
It kind of looked like, guys, that the knees of Kevin Barlow were on a body and were never down until his arm hit down with a ball right on the goal line.
After review, with the ball in his possession, the ball carrier broke the plane to the goal line. Touchdown.
Credit for the touchdown, and the injured Jeff Chandler will try to tack on the extra point and tie it. No problems. One of the greatest cities in the world, San Francisco, California. Alcatraz in the background. And here at Candlestick Point, a 10-play drive covering 69 yards, with Barlow crashing in from a yard out, has tied this game. Delvin Joyce from about the 6. Gets to the 30. The Giants start with it at their own 30. Just under 6 to go, tied at 14. Wide open is Stackhouse, the fullback. And he leaps forward out to the 36. And congratulations to the Falcons for what they did in Green Bay last night. Tiki Barber comes out of that mess and is brought down just shy of the 40, and therefore just shy of a first down. Tony Parrish on the stop.
It's kind of interesting to watch a guy like Charles Stackhouse, the fullback. There was a blitz coming right at him, and Tiki Barber was running behind him, and Stackhouse just basically took the brunt of everything. Everybody hit Stackhouse, and then Tiki Barber was able to escape out to the outside.
Of course, you saw those numbers there by Shockey, Toomer, and Barber, and the big three, as they're called. And
he calls the number of Tiki Barber, who pushes the pile forward for a first down.
With initial contact, it did not look like he was going to pick up the first down. And I don't know if Jeremy Shockey was pulling him or if it's a defender that comes in. And you see right, well, it's Jeff Ulbrich who comes in, and when his attempt to try to tackle him actually pushes Tiki Barber across the line for the first down.
Yeah, I don't think he had it until Ulbrich made contact.
From their own 42, Collins sacked. Julian Peterson.
You know, the one downside about having Tiki Barber in your backfield, if teams want to blitz and bring a guy like Julian Peterson who weighs 240, you're going to end up with a small back trying to make a hit on a guy that is just too big, too strong, too fast. And that time the protection broke down. The one thing that Jim Fossil has done a great job of since taking over was the fact that they've shored up these protections.
Second down and 19, and as a changeup, they hand the ball to Barber, who picks up only 2. It's 3rd and 17. 49ers come on a blitz, and Collins airs it out. Darryl Jones couldn't even find the football, and it's time for the Giants to punt.
Yeah, he never could see it. He's running, and he looks back, and he's got the sun right back in his eyes, and they had a chance. It was one-on-one, but to go back to the play that Julian Peterson made, it is rare that he blitzes anymore and comes after the quarterback. You see there the sun, and that's what Darryl Jones was looking right into. And Julian Peterson had 2 sacks coming into this game on the year, and now they're starting to allow him to do what they thought he'd be doing more of earlier in the season.
You know, to go back to that other one, Darryl Jones, maybe the sun was going that way, but he didn't even look back. Got to at least look back.
Beautiful punt from Matt Allen. And a fair catch. It's muffed by Cedric Wilson. And the Giants take control inside the 10.
And you just wonder if the sun was in his eyes as well, playing a factor in that.
Johnny Harris comes away with it for the Giants after this from Cedric Wilson.
I know I used to be a punt returner in college, and the thing that I feared most was not the defense coming down, but if that sun sitting up there, because all of a sudden you lose what the ball is doing in the air. You can't see the rotation. You can't see the way that it moves, and it always moves either right to left or left to right, depending on the punter, and he was staring right up into it.
And the one thing he doesn't do if the sun was in his eyes is he doesn't try to shield the sun so that he can see the ball coming. But what a big break for the Giants.
From the 8, 1st and goal. Collins rolls, fires, complete, touchdown. Amani Toomer.
Well, and I wonder if they still believe that Ahmed Plummer can cover him one-on-one. I'll tell you right now, they have created some real matchup problems with Jeremy Shockey and Amani Toomer, and I'm not sure right now that Jim Mora Jr., the defensive coordinator, has any idea what to do here in this second half to slow this offense down. Ahmed Plummer right there has an opportunity. You got to make the tackle when you have the chance.
These guys too big, too strong for the secondary of the 49ers. They've just been running right through them.
The new long snapper is Trey Junkin, who the Giants just signed. A costly mistake. And Cedric Wilson now watches on the sideline as Vinny Sutherland, who was just signed, is another guy who's getting a chance to return kicks. The mistake by Wilson leads right to a Giant touchdown.
Well, you don't want to be messing around with your special teams units, but they've had to in a playoff game like this.
Bryant gets rid of it. This is Sutherland from the 6. Then he gets it out to the 25 and beyond. They'll mark him down at the 27.
One of the things that Jim Moore wanted his secondary to do is to disguise their coverage. But you see, he's so far inside here and looking right at the wide receiver. Kerry Collins knows immediately that that's man-to-man coverage on the outside. The short little roll goes right to him. It's very easy because you know that that defensive back isn't even looking at what you're doing. And Kerry Collins did a great job of recognition and taking advantage of it.
Ahmed Plummer has been picked on a lot today, and we're less than halfway through it. So Plummer's been their best cover corner, at least their best available. The other guy's Rumpf, who's playing for the injured Webster. The secondary is in serious trouble with the way the Giants are throwing the ball.
And I don't think the Giants care who has the one-on-one matchup or who is defending. They're going to go after that one-on-one, whether it's Shockey or Amani Toomer.
Starting from their own 27, Garcia and the 49ers trying to answer. That's Owens. And he goes out of bounds with a first down at the 41.
Well, one of the keys is if you can throw on first down, you don't get nearly the pass rush and you don't get the exotic coverages down the field that you would ordinarily get on the nickel situations. Here they basically fooled him. No pass rush to deal with, and Terrell Owens able to work in behind the linebackers. Anytime you can get T.O. on the linebackers instead of with man under and safety help over the top, you have a great opportunity.
Bragg was just standing there looking for somebody to block. On first down, they're going to throw again. And it's dumped off. Garcia was hit as he let it fly. Garrison Hurst, the intended receiver. Plenty of time left for the 49ers. 2:12. 2-minute warning coming up, and they have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Owens had 2 weeks off to rest his injured groin. He's already over 100 yards on the day, has a touchdown as Garrison Hurst lost a yard, and the crowd is starting to groan as we have 2 minutes left in this first half. And I would imagine, Troy, that thing looked like that to you a few times in your career, and it was actually working.
Yeah, I was on the sidelines when it looked like that to me. I had a bag of ice on my head.
3rd down and 11. Garcia with plenty of time over the middle, and it's picked off by Sehorn. Jason Sehorn, week after week, meeting after meeting with offensive coordinators. All anybody can say is we can't wait to pick on Jason Sehorn, and he gets a pick off here toward the end of the first half.
Well, this is a matchup actually that the 49ers wanted to try to take advantage of, but yet the Giants felt that it favored them because of the physicalness of Jason Sehorn matching up with his size. But this is just a great athletic play by Jason Sehorn, being able to pull that one in.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Sehorn before the ball game, and he said one of the things that we feel like we can do is we're faster than these receivers, and we feel like we're quicker as well. So we're going to let them get their release off the football, trail them, and then when they make their break, just run underneath. It's exactly what he did for the interception.
Might be talking about that on his A&E show later in the month. From their own 45. Over the middle, it's Barber. Brought down 2 yards shy of a first down, 1:44 and counting, and the Giants have 2 timeouts left.
You know, that's one of the problems when you see Tiki Barber catch that ball. When you got Jeremy Shockey, and when he's running vertically down the field, he gets the attention of these linebackers, and so they have to take much deeper drops. And when they do that, it opens up that underneath spot for Tiki Barber, and he's caught a lot of footballs there this season.
2nd down and 2. Collins fires. Penalty flag on the play as Amani Toomer has another catch. But this one is likely coming back on a hold. Dan Campbell, the guilty party.
And Dan Campbell is essentially a fullback back there. He really doesn't get a chance to catch a football.
Number 89 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
I tell you what, look at the arm strength. Well, first of all, you're going to see Dan Campbell right here. Yeah, he's got him. But on this play, Kerry Collins, it is unbelievable the arm strength that he has. There is very little room there to throw the football, and Plummer actually has pretty good coverage on Toomer, but the ball got there before Plummer was even able to react to the ball.
Second down and 12 now. Ball back at the Giants 42. No flags, even though there was movement along the defensive front, and Tiki Barber makes the catch out to the 46. Gain of 4.
Well, really a huge penalty in that drive. Right now the Giants wanting to make sure, yes, in fact, if they get a chance to pick up the first down, then they still have some timeouts. They can go to work, but they don't want to give the 49ers any clock. So they're just sort of taking their time, going back to the huddle. And now if they pick it up, then they'll start getting back into the hurry.
You agree with that, Troy? You like the way they're managing the clock here?
No, they got Ron Dixon one-on-one on Mike Rump.
See if Collins looks that way. Down the middle of the field. The catch is made by Barber. Now you'll see a timeout. And the Giants take one of their 2 remaining timeouts with 21 seconds left in this first half. Beautiful throw, but an amazing catch from Barber, who was able to hang on.
Yeah, and what looked like Rump having one-on-one coverage right here, but the safety actually goes over the top, and that's what creates this space right here for the throw versus that 2 deep. That's the vulnerability of that coverage, and just a great job of throwing the football and catching it.
And then Luke Pettigrew on the outside working against Andre Carter. Carter comes with the inside rip move, but just enough time for him to get it down the field to Tiki Barber. And right now the safeties for the 49ers are struggling, Troy. They haven't been in there a lot. Zach Bronson, it's his first game back. We've seen him miss a tackle, and they've been able to take advantage of that void down the middle into cover 2.
Yeah, and the way that they were able to get it there, we talked about the safety going over the top, but they brought Jeremy Shockey in underneath to tie up the linebacker level, and that's what got Barber in behind him.
Three safeties in the lineup defensively for the 49ers. First down from the 24. Backing up as he throws, and he overshoots Campbell.
Well, we've really seen a change in the defensive scheme now by Jim Mora. He is no longer putting his guys in those one-on-one positions with Shockey and with Toomer, playing a lot more zone here as they're coming down the stretch.
Well, when you start going to that cover 2, trying to help out the outside guys because you're not holding up, which is what has happened here in this first half. You open up the middle, and that's why they got the big play 2 plays ago. Right now, I just don't think Jim Mora or this defense knows really what they have to do to slow down the Giants.
16 seconds left and 1 timeout left for New York. Up by 7. On second down, Collins to the end zone. Toomer able to make a play and gets his 3rd touchdown of the day.
And for Ahmed Plummer, this has been a nightmare. No question about it. The game plan coming in was Plummer was supposed to be able to take care of Amani Toomer, and they would help elsewhere. They're just throwing balls up, a little out or in and up move, and pass interference, and Toomer's still able to make the catch.
Yeah, they didn't get the pass interference call. It didn't matter. Ahmed Plummer just doesn't even turn around and try to play the ball.
I just think he's shell-shocked right now. Anytime you get that many passes completed against you, your confidence gets shot.
How about 4 touchdown throws from Kerry Collins?
Kerry Collins, I mean, Jeremy Shockey has gotten a lot of attention on this football team, and Tiki Barber and Amani Toomer rightfully so. And Kerry Collins has been absolutely outstanding down the stretch over the last 4 to 5 ball games, is playing as well as he has played at any point during his career.
And remember what Michael Strahan was telling us yesterday. He said, you know, when this offensive football team used to be on the field and we'd come off the field as a defensive unit, you had to go straight for a glass of water. Because if you waited any time at all, you'd never be able to finish your drink of water. So you went straight to the sideline, got a drink of water, because you knew within about a minute and a half you had to go back out on the field. Now, of course, with Jim Fossil taking over the play calling and Kerry Collins and Jeremy Shockey, this offense is out there longer than their defense.
Well, and who would have guessed, knowing what we know over the years of the San Francisco 49ers and the New York Giants, that coming into this game, the Giants would be the team with the offensive juggernaut. It's mind-boggling what Jim Fossil has done with this group and the confidence that this team has established in their ability to move the football and score points, unlike anything I've ever seen from a Giant offensive football team.
Wilson and Sutherland waiting deep. And with 10 seconds remaining in the half, this is Paul Smith. Above the Bay Area, let's go down and check in with Pam Oliver.
Okay, Joe, Jim Fossil talking strategy for the second half. I asked him about how he keeps the Niners defense off balance in the second half. He says, you know what, we just keep attacking. He says he's very pleased with the way his team responded after the way things started. The Collins pass was tipped and then intercepted. He says my guys didn't exactly go in the tank. Meanwhile, Steve Mariucci, I asked him about what kind of defensive changes we can see. He says, really, we just got to get pressure on Kerry Collins and just keep plugging away. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thanks. Back up here in the booth, I'll ask our experts here, Chris and Troy. Anything jump out at you? Anything surprise you from that first half?
Not really. I mean, other than the Giants are continuing offensively the way they have the last 4 or 5 ball games. Kerry Collins, the question is, how's he going to perform in a playoff game? Playing great.
The turning point might have been when the fans started getting on Jeremy Shockey. I think they made him mad. And from that moment on, it's just been a flood of offense for the Giants.
And really, Kerry Collins talked about it yesterday. What the presence of Jeremy Shockey does for this team. He said, I finally have a threat from the outside in, as opposed to all that I've had with the Giants has been from the inside out. And he has really opened up the offense. We'll talk about that when they get the ball. Right now, the 49ers trying to get something going offensively to answer what's happened from the Giants if they have really taken apart the 49er defense. You look at the time of possession, just dominated, and the red zone. We talked about that for the Giants. The lowest touchdown percentage in the league during the regular season. They're 3 for 3. Toomer, 3 touchdown catches. The other belongs to Shockey.
And it's not that the 49ers offense hasn't been good. They just haven't been on the field because the Giants offense has been that much better.
Starting from their own 30, it's the tight end Eric Johnson. He gets it up to the 39, a yard shy of a first down.
Yeah, and talking with Jeff Garcia yesterday, he said that in the first ball game, Eric Johnson had some opportunities to make some plays and get down the field, but he was having a hard time getting off the line of scrimmage and getting a good release. And he is a guy who is going to have to emerge here in this second half for them to be able to get back in it and make some plays. He started off their first play here in the second half.
Second down and 1. That's Hurst, and that's a 49er first down. Across the 45, Sean Williams with a tackle.
Garrison Hurst pops it in there pretty good, and a good job by Sean Williams coming up and making the stick from his safety position. Boy, it sure is nice to have a guy that's willing to come up from that cover 2 position, almost a John Lynch-like position, and read the play, see run pass, and then be able to get up, step up in the hole, because that was a big hole.
This is the first time Mariucci, since he's been head coach here, hasn't had a 1,000-yard back. First ended 28 yards shy. Jeff Garcia, effective running the ball in the first half, gets it into Giants territory. And Garcia upset that there wasn't a flag thrown for those hits, but he went ahead first.
Well, Garcia is looking for somebody to try to get open to get the football to him, and again, he's able to come up inside where the Giants were going to try to have some pressure. But when you go in head first, you're going to take some shots. You give yourself up when you slide, but if you go head first, you're open game.
Second down and 3. They fake the reverse with Owens and hand to Hurst. And he's brought down 2 shy of a first down.
Yeah, one of the things that fake reverse does, a lot of times it forces the defensive ends to take a step back and play the reverse. But what's happened earlier in the season, a lot of teams were running this and having success. Now the Giants are simply crashing their ends down, playing the run, and bringing the safety around to play that reverse. A much more sound way to play it.
Look at the plays and the difference between the Giants and 49ers. This is only the 5th play inside Giants territory for the 49er offense. Garcia buys some time, looking to dump it off. He has Owens, and Owens is out of bounds right at the marker. Mariucci's right there, pleading with the official.
Yeah, I thought Terrell swung the ball across the plane of that first down marker, but I don't know if his foot slid out of bounds before it happened. Nope, he had the ball in his left hand, so he wasn't able to reach it across.
49ers have to get the ball up to the 45-yard line, the Giants' 45-yard line, for a first down. Still haven't seen where they placed the ball because of the bodies down there, and they are about a foot short.
I don't think there's any question you have to go for it here, try and get your team back in the ball game.
And that's the decision that's been made by Steve Mariucci, whose future with this 49er franchise is very much clouded and up in the air. Signed through next season, but few believe he will head into that final year of his contract without redoing his deal or moving on elsewhere.
This is a big down right here. You could argue that you should punt here in order to try to regain field position and then stop the Giants, but if they don't get it here, they're putting the Giants in position to come away with points.
It's Beasley, and he didn't get it. Beasley is stuffed. Kenny Holmes was right in the middle of it for the Giants, and turning it over on downs is the 49er offense. With all the talk about the Giants offense, it's the defense that steps up for New York at the start of the second half, and Shockey just out of his reach from Kerry Collins.
Well, we go back to that 4th down play, and it's going to be Kenny Holmes who's going to be cutting in here, and you're going to see him right there, number 90. He's the one who makes the initial contact on Fred Beasley, and I just don't agree with going for it right there on 4th down. In a playoff game, even more so than a regular season game, it comes down to field position. This is a 2-touchdown separation between these teams. I think you've got to try to back the Giants up inside the 20.
Yeah, but then they go 90 yards. You haven't been able to stop them all day.
Well, they may as well quit now then.
Tiki Barber bounces it outside and picks up a first down and more. 49ers cannot slow down Barber, who before that carry had a total of 128 yards on the day.
Well, we talked about the big improvement in this offensive line. We had a chance to watch them early in the season, and they just were out of sorts. They had the least experience of any offensive line in the NFL to start the season. And yet, when you watch the tape of these guys now and the coordination and the job that Jim McNally, their offensive line coach, has done, just incredible the difference.
A 150-yard day for Tiki Barber as he adds another 1.5 yards here with 11:14 and counting left in the 3rd quarter.
You know, I think the big thing that the 49ers were counting on was the 3 fumbles that Tiki Barber had last week against the Eagles, and that he was going to be a little skeptical running the football and cautious, and he's been quite the opposite. I mean, he's running with great confidence. You see him securing the football, but he's not tiptoeing around when he's running, whether it's up inside or outside on the edges.
Deese, who was injured, the left tackle on that 4th down play, a turned ankle. His status questionable as Amani Toomer has been wide open all day, and even though that ball was batted out by Ulbrich, the Giants will maintain possession inside the 15.
Well, Tiki Barber missed a blitz pickup before on Julian Peterson, but this time here's a 200-pounder going to step right up there and take on Derek Smith, and that's what allowed Kerry Collins to get the football out and come up with another big play.
Yeah, and again, Amani Toomer working against Ahmed Plummer, and right now that's just pitch and catch. I mean, you couldn't go out in a one-on-one drill in practice on Wednesday or Thursday and have any better looks than what Kerry Collins is getting right now.
Darryl Jones, the other wide receiver, he's at the bottom of the screen with Toomer up top and a handoff to Barber. Tiki Barber picks his way down the sideline and is forced out of the 6.
Well, I tell you, that's a great job that time by Jason Whittle. Yeah, Tiki Barber read the block, but Jason Whittle is never going to give up on the play. Pull out in front of it, and as soon as he gets out there, watch him just stay on this block. Stay on it, stay on it, stay on it. Give Tiki a chance to read it, and then cut up the field.
97 yards on the ground for Barber. 2nd down and 2. Blitz coming from the 49ers. Touchdown from the Giants. Tiki Barber gets in on the fun. Shockey 1, Toomer 3, and now Tiki Barber. Tremendous block up front by the tight end Dan Campbell.
Yeah, that's it, Joe. Dan Campbell is going to be at the fullback position. He's going to lead block right there on Derek Smith. And that's what opens up the lane for Tiki Barber. And these 49ers, I mean, they don't know what it's coming from.
You consider the career of Tiki Barber, who, guys, a few years ago was just considered a 3rd down back. Now he's doing everything out of that halfback position for the Giants. They spent that 1st-round pick on Dane, who's had very little impact. And here's Barber, already 20 carries, holding up in a playoff game, wanting the football, and today hanging on to the football. Kenny Holmes, an injured right shoulder. The defensive end who's playing so well for the Giants. 35-14 Giants. Under 10 to play in the 3rd quarter. We have pinpointed where this landslide began. The 14-14 tie, the muff punt by Cedric Wilson. It's been all Giants since. Garrison Hurst takes a hit. Kevin Barlow, the tailback, behind Beasley on 2nd down and 6. Garcia just threw it away as Barlow was engaged with Brandon Short.
And for Jeff Garcia, when he's getting Terrell Owens in one-on-one situations, he has to be able to find him. I know Terrell Owens is a guy that he wants to give him the football, and you don't want to force it into the double coverage. That time Jason Sehorn was out there in one-on-one. Got to throw him the football. He's your guy. He's your playmaker.
Yeah, especially when that was the matchup they were hoping to get when they went to their 3 wide sets. Terrell Owens on Jason Sehorn.
Best team in the league on 3rd down this season, only 2 of 6, the 49ers today. That ball's gunned and dropped. It's Johnson, the tight end. The last playoff game that Jeff Garcia won was the '98 Grey Cup for the Calgary Stampeders, and as he and the offense heads off the field, with Derek Deese and his sprained left ankle watching on the bench, this crowd gets on the 49ers.
I don't think this crowd's real excited about any win he had in Canada. But on that last one, Eric Johnson, even if he catches that ball, he did not get enough distance to even pick up the 1st down if he had caught it.
Bill LaFleur with a good punt. Delvin Joyce on the run from inside the 25. Gets up to the 35, and that's it.
You could do that.
Yeah.
He's got a good beat. You can dance to it.
Yeah. Assuming that's down on Fisherman's Wharf, is Ron Dane. Makes a rare appearance in this game. He got 2. How about the last 6 possessions for this Jim Fossil play call and juggernaut called the Giants?
Well, the only question is what the heck happened here? You know, a punt, but I think that pretty much says it all when you're able to go down and not only put points on the board, but those being touchdowns. And what a day they're having offensively.
And you know, it could only get better because of the fact that Ron Dixon, you've got to believe, as he gets healthier, that adds a 4th threat out there that they really haven't had.
Dixon working against Rumpf. There's Shockey that Troy circled on 2nd down, and there's Dixon working on Rumpf.
Lance Dixon had knee surgery about 4 weeks ago. He's just working his way back in. They really didn't even have him in the game plan because they didn't have enough confidence that he was going to be ready to go this week. But just having that added threat on the outside, now it makes it even harder for defensive coordinators. You got Shockey and Toomer and Tiki Barber, and all of a sudden you got to worry about Ron Dixon on the outside, who's a speed guy.
49ers looking for some sort of spark as Ron Dane pushes forward for 2 of the Atlanta Falcons. They're not short on confidence as Dixon makes the catch. Second catch on this drive, and he has it inside 49er territory at the 49.
I was going to say, the way he caught the ball and went down, it looked like he was pretty banged up, and you can tell by the way he's walking that, of course, it was his knee that's kept him out. You wonder if he's done something now. It certainly would appear that way to re-aggravate the knee, but maybe the way he comes down.
Yeah, it looked like his left knee and ankle sort of rolled back over. Boy, just about the time that he was starting to contribute and do some good things, maybe he'll be able to shake it off and get back in, but they may just hold him out now.
It was his right knee that was injured earlier this season. On third down, Collins airs it out. Toomer, what a throw. Another catch for Toomer, and another first down inside the 5.
Well, they tried man-to-man, they've tried zone, they've tried a little bit of everything on Amani Toomer, and none of it is working. This time just basically a 2-man route down the field. And Zach Bronson, who's been back in the ball game for the first time after a foot injury that's kept him out, there's really just been no match for any of these guys. We've seen Jeremy Shockey light him up, and he couldn't get him on the ground, and now Amani Toomer in just a pretty simple basic cover 2 coverage.
The last 6 games, including today, Collins has thrown 13 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions as Ron Dane hits the line of scrimmage and goes nowhere.
Well, and Kerry Collins has been absolutely outstanding. And right now, at this point in the game, is when it's really a lot of fun to be playing that position. And he's playing with so much confidence right now and seeing the field so well that every time he drops back, he knows where he's going with the football. He's confident he's going to deliver it accurately, and that's why he's been able to put up the numbers that he has. And Kerry Collins deserves to be considered one of the top quarterbacks in this league, and hopefully after this playoff run, he will be considered one of those guys.
Second down and goal. Collins back in the end zone, Shockey right through his hands. And if nothing else, the fans get a kick out of Shockey not making the catch on what was a sure touchdown.
You see Kerry Collins and what he's able to do, coming out right, throwing off his back foot, but he has the presence to find Shockey, and I think that's the first drop I've seen him have.
Well, I guess if that means the fans got their money's worth there.
It's a bad day in San Francisco.
They're a cheap date today.
Third and goal. Shockey out of bounds.
It's a good job that time by Tony Parrish. Forcing Shockey to the back line really gave him no room to work, so once he jumped in the air, he was essentially able to carry him out of the end zone. He's got him pinned back there against that back line. The only place that Kerry Collins can throw it was up, and once he left his feet, his momentum carried him out.
I think Jeremy Shockey's going to beat up the locker when he gets in after the game for dropping the previous play.
21-yard try from Bryant. Drilled. Under 4.5 to play here in the third quarter. Vinny Vici out to the 30. Giants doing more of what they did really throughout the entire first half, and that is just hang on to the football. Something that the 49ers really pride themselves on. 4th in the league this year, time of possession. Catch is made by Johnson for a first down.
You know, in the first meeting between Scott Gregg and Michael Strahan, Scott Gregg did a pretty good job on him, and Michael Strahan told us yesterday that he was looking forward to working against him in this ball game. But Scott Gregg's done a nice job so far.
Played together 5 years in Giant uniforms. That pass is caught. Ty Streets.
Well, this is the way Jeff Garcia wants to play anyway. Get in there, spread it out, go into the 2-minute drill. Earlier this year against the Dallas Cowboys, had a great comeback at the end of that football game. So they're fully capable, and this is Garcia's style. This is what he wants.
First down, and it's Garrison Hurst. Mr. Short came up and drilled Garrison Hurst. Omar Stoutmire was there as well. Gain of 4 on the play.
And even when you talk to Jeff Garcia, he'd like to start games out and continue with it in the first half. He hates only doing it when they get behind.
Blitz coming from the Giants on 2nd and 6, and that's Owens. First down at the 32.
Well, they're playing a couple of different coverages on the outside with Jason Sehorn. One, they just play straight man with safety help over the top. But sometimes they run linebackers underneath. Anytime, though, you get Sehorn one-on-one, you have to go there, and you have to keep going there.
It's first down. A little pump fake from Garcia. Buys time and flips. Johnson. Catch is made just shy of the 25. And easily the most impressive drive of the day put together here by San Francisco.
Well, and it really puts the defense on their heels, and that's one of the great advantages an offense has when they go to the no huddle. And this is much more up-tempo than just trying to call plays at the line, but it's still not a 2-minute situation.
See a lot of the Giants defenders standing around with their hands on their hips. Pass is ruled incomplete as Streets was out of bounds when he made the catch. 3rd and 4.
We played a lot of this no huddle in Cincinnati, and it was almost comical to look over at the defensive linemen after 2 or 3 series of it, and just literally they couldn't get out of the huddle. You know, they're just standing there, their hands on their knees, and they're trying to catch their breath, and our offensive linemen just laughing at them.
And I even think sometimes, even when the clock stops, sometimes you're better off just continuing in the no huddle situation, because it keeps the defense from substituting, and it keeps them from being able to make calls from the sidelines.
Play clock down to 1. Garcia just got it away. And now completes to Owens. Still on his feet. Terrell Owens takes a hit and goes in for the touchdown.
Well, there's what we're talking about. Anytime that Jason Sehorn is going to be left one-on-one on Terrell Owens, you've got to find him. And Jeff Garcia on this drive has done a heck of a lot better job than what he had done earlier.
Well, right now, the 49ers are going to line up and go for 2.
Yeah, they're going to try to go for 2 to make it 38-22 and a 16-point difference. So then it's a 2-score or 2-possession game, and that's their thought here. And right now, they got Garrison Hurst spread wide. Now they went over there and got him covered.
Quick throw, and it's Owens. Penalty flag on the play.
And that may be on Omar Stoutmire coming in late and hitting Jeff Garcia.
So it is a 16-point game if the play stands, and it appears it will. This will be assessed on the kickoff.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 23 defense. The extra point is good. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
And here's a 2-point conversion, and then really just a nice throw. Good coverage by Peterson, but Terrell Owens does a good job. And here's the hit on Garcia. Omar Stoutmire right there, helmet to helmet. It doesn't look like much, but helmet to helmet, you get the call every time.
Mike Strahan saying to Terrell Owens, you want to strut? Well, while you strut, look up at the scoreboard. It's 38-22.
I'm really surprised, though, that the Giants didn't make an adjustment on that drive. All the way through that drive, they essentially just stayed in their man coverage on Terrell Owens, and Terrell Owens is saying, listen, anytime, I don't care who it is out there, whether it's Will Allen, Will Peterson, Jason Seahorn, if I'm one-on-one, you throw me the football, because Troy, those big-bodied guys, they don't have to be wide open. They just can use it like a rebounder in basketball to screen off the defender, and you can get that football in there.
Yeah, he's pleading to Jeff to get him the football. Jeff told us yesterday he would not force balls to Terrell Owens unless it got late in the game. I think now's the time.
49ers play it straight, kick it away, and taking a knee is Delvin Joyce.
And that was really a mistake by the 49ers on that kickoff. They got the 15 yards and didn't do anything with it, just kicked it into the end zone.
Their big three have been busy today. Crowd back in it. First down, it's Barber, tripped up in the backfield. It's one of the backup safeties, John Keith. 2nd and 11. That's Shockey, and that's out of his reach.
Well, Kerry Collins picked the right guy. He saw Julian Peterson one-on-one with Jeremy Shockey. And you're just going to take that matchup all day long. There's really no way that Peterson should be able to stay with him, but Kerry overthrew that one. It's kind of a safe throw where I thought he had an opportunity to get it in.
And right now this crowd has gotten back into this game, and the Giants just have to take a deep breath and try to slow the pace of the game down and not start pressing.
Yet they're faced with 3rd and 11. Collins, no more time. A coverage sack for the 49ers.
Darryl Jones outside one-on-one with a Med Plummer, and he had a chance to kind of cut it loose, but you can see right here that Kerry Collins just did not have the confidence in Darryl Jones to cut it loose. And of course there you've got Mike Rumpf underneath, double coverage over the top, no chance there.
First 3 and out for the Giants all day, and now a punt from Matt Allen, who has struggled. Penalty flag on the punt. And Sutherland on a fair catch takes a hit. And they'll throw a flag. 2 flags on this play. 2 different fouls.
Earlier in the day, we saw what looked like a blowout by the Cleveland Browns completely turn around. And boy, has the momentum shifted in this one.
Only a 29-yard punt from Matt Allen. Well, the 1 foul's easy. That was Sutherland took a hit.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal motion on the kicking team. That penalty is declined. At the end of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness under 55. That penalty is accepted. 15 yards and a first down.
Dhani Jones is guilty of that hit on a fair catch by Sutherland.
I'll tell you what, though, Sutherland, after the fair catch, took 2 or 3 steps forward.
Yeah,
and you're not allowed to do that either.
Yeah, but Dhani Jones has got to know that he put the arm up and get out of his way. Obviously, Dhani Jones wasn't trying to make a tackle on him.
I just think he got confused when he saw him take a couple of steps, but clearly Sutherland was just stumbling and trying to catch his feet. But you're not allowed to do a fair catch and then take off running. That's a foul on you.
Well, this could become a game again here in a hurry as the 49ers have it at the Giants 27.
Yeah, and the fact that the 49ers went for the 2-point conversion to cut the lead to 16 is pretty big right now with great field position.
Right back to the air. That's Beasley, the fullback. Forced out by Short, gain of 2.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Scott Gregg, the right tackle, has been going against Strahan one-on-one all day long, and Michael Strahan has not gotten even close to Jeff Garcia. Scott Gregg, 6'8", 325 pounds. He's just a big man, and he's done a nice job of blocking out one of the premier pass rushers in this game.
And they had an out and up to Terrell Owens that time, and he slipped and almost fell.
2nd down and 7. Garcia drops it. Off to a receiver, Stokes, and he's out of bounds with a 1st down at the 14. And this crowd is smelling it.
And Jeff Garcia in this hurry-up offense is really making some great reads down the field that time. That time he caught Brandon Short one-on-one with the wide receiver, and he picked it up. It's really a mismatch.
That 10-yard completion to Stokes gives the 49ers a 1st down. It ends the 3rd quarter. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers came back from down 17 earlier today to win 36-33 at home over Cleveland. Playoff history for the 49ers. 1-13 when trailing after 3 quarters. Chris Collinsworth was involved in the 1. Look at that. What a fake. Garcia. Touchdown, San Francisco. For 2 before, and they'll go for 2 again.
Well, again, they run the fake handoff, and right there, the end comes crashing down. They got the block on the outside by J.J. Stokes. That was easy.
That's Byron Fresh in the game, taking the place of the injured Kenny Holmes. Going for 2. The 49ers. Garcia fires and connects with Owens again. Scoreboard doesn't look as good to Strahan now.
Boy, Terrell Owens did a tremendous job on a scramble drill situation here. Something that Dwight Clark made the catch with earlier in his career. Watch him just stay alive. Garcia buys some time moving around the pocket and cuts this thing down to 8. Garcia really the key on the play, though, able to keep it alive, find some time, and then find Owens. And Troy, I thought what was so key on the touchdown was it wasn't a bootleg action that came out of that. Going to check out the block on the outside by J.J. Stokes, but it was a fake to the front side, and then he kept going. A very unusual play in the NFL.
Yeah, and by making the fake that way, it allowed Jeff Garcia to get on the corner much faster than he would have if he had run the naked. And the best thing, other than getting the points and cutting this lead to 8 points, is that now, with that drive, this 49er defense has been given the opportunity to rest, which is something they were not able to do in the first half.
Chandler kicks it away. This is Delvin Joyce from the 5. Good return by Joyce out near the 35.
This day's a long way from being over. This offense here has got to do something to take some of the momentum away from this 49er team.
And I thought they got too conservative on that last drive.
Tiki Barber, nowhere to go.
I tell you, that's just not right. That's not the right strategy. If you want to get this crowd out of the game, they're up there stacking the line of scrimmage. You've been beating them down the field all day long. Now you're putting yourself in 2nd and long situations. You have to hit a play here to get this crowd out.
2nd down and 11. That's Campbell. Short gain. Nice tackle by Rumph.
Well, and right now what happens a lot is you see Johnny Lynn, the defensive coordinator, talking to his defense, knowing that they've got to pick up their play. They cannot allow the 49er offense, when they get the ball, to run through them again. But You're seeing right now from this Giants offense is Kerry Collins is dropping back and he's getting rid of the football. I don't know that he's taking time to let things develop, and that's what tends to happen when you start getting in pressure situations.
Shockey's flanked out a little bit here.
Nearly picked off by Hurd as Collins threw off his back foot. He had Shockey open. Dixon back in the game was open for a moment, but a rare errant throw from Kerry Collins.
And I think he wanted to go to Jeremy Shockey, but Derek Smith, the middle linebacker, was sitting there right in the middle of the field, and so it forced Kerry Collins to come out wide, and he nearly threw that one away.
Yeah, and you saw him throwing off his back foot, and sometimes, you know, as we said, he can make all the throws. Sometimes he relies on that a little too much. He had Dixon, was unable to get him the football.
Matt Allen to punt. Good punt. Very good punt. And a fair catch called for inside the 20. A couple changes up front for the Giants along the defensive line. Kenny Holmes back in. Lance LeGree out. Frank Ferrara in. Along with Griffin and Strahan. Starting from their own 18, down by 8. Johnson, the tight end, takes a hit from Stoutmeyer and makes a good tackle.
Yeah, that's great closing speed there by Omar Stoutmeyer getting over to make that play.
Shockey's not the only long-haired tight end who can get hot along the sideline for the Giants. Look at the drop kick from Campbell.
Jeremy looked like he kind of liked it.
Dan Campbell almost drop kicked that helmet into a teammate's head. On second down, Owens. First down. Just shy of the 44.
That's just tremendous by Terrell Owens. Just staying alive. He fakes to the outside. The linebacker short is going to try and jump him, and he just jumps back to the inside. They're just playing some one-on-one games on the outside right now.
Garcia just throws it away. Well outside the pocket, got the ball past the line of scrimmage. Second down. Strahan with pressure on that play.
Well, he's finally able to get a little bit of pressure, but only because Garcia started moving that way. And you know, so far Garcia has been able to step up in the pocket and buy himself some time. He tries coming outside this time, but he's been the difference as far as just creating some lanes and throwing the football. And what I like is when the clock has been running, even though they're only a touchdown behind, they've continued to go into the no huddle, which has given them a lot of success here in the second half.
They just huddled up there, though. Gave the Giants a chance to breathe.
On second down and 10. Garcia buys more time. Fires, has his man. Catch is made by Cedric Wilson. And a first down. The ball came out at the end of the play. And the officials have not made any call as to who has possession. They huddle and now will call timeout, and the referee Ron Winter will try to find out what took place. Remember, Wilson muffed a punt earlier. The ball came out and the Giants said that they recovered, but they have not made a call on the field.
And we've got to see where his knee is. The knee's there, the ball's still in his possession. That's 49er football.
And that's the call that they just made on the field.
And as you see here, they're not huddling. They're going to the line of scrimmage. They're making the call.
And that forced Jim Fossil to throw the flag without really getting a chance to watch the replays. If he'd had a chance to see the replays, I think he would have not taken a chance on blowing a timeout. I don't think there's any question. The knee comes down before the ball's out. Right there, his knee's down. The ball is still in his possession. 49er football. Good call by the officials.
The ball is at the Giants 38. And Jim Fossil is getting an explanation from Ron Winter, the referee.
I think what he's saying is that once the whistle blows and we blew the whistle, there is no challenge.
The runner's down by contact. By rule, the play cannot be challenged. Play results in a first down.
They got the call right. And in essence, Jim Fossil is arguing it works out to the Giants' benefit because it won't cost them a timeout.
That's exactly right. I think when it's all said and done, and I know Jim is very upset here, but I think when it's all said and done, he has a chance to go back and look at this. Then he's going to realize this is working in his favor, and it's going to save him a timeout, because this clearly would still be the 49ers' ball.
So they return that challenge red flag. And it's first down for San Francisco, down 8. And nearly stepping in front for a pick was Sean Williams.
And Jeff Garcia is certainly a very good drop back quarterback. But to me, the difference in this football game, when the 49ers have been getting something going on the offensive side, is when he's been on the move, either out of the pocket, stepping up, presenting the run-pass threat, because these receivers are so good at staying alive in that scramble drill down the situation, down the field. Keep getting him outside the pocket.
2nd and 10. That's Johnson, the tight end. And the catch is made about a yard shy of a first down.
And this is interesting here. Even though it's going to be 3rd and very short, they are still not huddling up. Jeff will be making this call from the line.
And Garcia keeps it on a sneak. And it certainly doesn't look like he got enough from where the officials are running in to spot the football. And this will bring up a decision. It is 4th down, and it appears it is. It is 4th down. Do you try for the field goal or go for the first down? There's almost 11 minutes left in this 4th quarter.
You know, maybe a little bit of it has to do with how healthy they think Jeff Chandler is.
And how much confidence the 49ers have in him.
Well, they're bringing in their 3rd down back, Fred Beasley. Remember, he's the one who carried it on 4th down and was unable to make the first down earlier.
The 49ers opt not to try about a 46-yard field goal from their rookie kicker Jeff Chandler, who during pregame warm-ups twisted his left ankle. He had it on ice, had it heavily wrapped, and they'll go for it for the 2nd time today on 4th and 1. Unsuccessful the first time. Garcia dumps it. The catch is made, and it's a first down, 49ers. Ty Streets.
Boy, I tell you what, how cool is Jeff Garcia? 4th and 1, game on the line. He finds his 4th receiver. He literally is going to look from one side of the field to the other and still manages to find the 4th guy open for the first down. Great single-handed play by Jeff Garcia.
What was a 38-14 Giants lead, 24 points, is down to 8. Garcia has not been sacked today. Steve Mariucci's 49ers coming alive in the 2nd half. Down by 8, under 10 to play. First down. Garcia on the move, hits his receiver Streets. And Streets will be marked down at the 20. Ron Stone, who already has been bothered by an ankle sprain, comes limping off the field. Kyle Kozier comes off the bench.
Well, one of the good things about the last couple of weeks, while they were trying to rest some of their offensive linemen up front like Stone and Deese, guys like Kozier have been able to come in the game and get some experience, so it's not going to be that big of a reach for them.
And of course, Matt Willig is already at left tackle.
Taking over for the injured Deese. Garcia hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. Owens, the intended receiver, and Brandon Short.
And that Shockey play seemed so insignificant at the time.
3rd down and 5. Pass is complete for a first down to Owens.
I tell you what, they keep matching up Jason Sehorn inside when Terrell Owens lines up in the slot. And when Terrell Owens comes off the ball and just runs away from Jason Sehorn, he cannot keep up with him. This is not even close. If that ball's out in front of him, Terrell Owens may even score on the play.
They're using that stack formation, so they're not able to get a jam on him either.
From the 11. End zone. And Incomplete. Owens got a hand on it, and Troy's shaking his head because Sehorn's on him again.
Well, they got to get him some help because it's obvious right now that Sehorn is completely confused and he's not being able to play Terrell Owens, which you're talking about one of the best receivers in the game of football, if not the best player. And one-on-one, it's a big task to ask, and Terrell Owens getting the better of this one right now.
Well, and the other thing they're doing is they're putting Owens in motion or stacking him, so he's getting the clean release off the ball, and then when you get down the field, a very difficult matchup for Sehorn.
2nd down and 10. Beasley, the fullback, on a change-up call. Ball's forward to the 8. And it'll be 3rd down. And by the way, the 49ers can get a 1st down without getting the ball into the end zone.
And I don't know if I've seen more tired defenders on a football field than what I'm seeing out of the Giants right now. These guys are just absolutely gassed. The pass rush isn't getting there. They're kind of leaning on people. The secondary is getting tired. This is a tired defense trying to hang in.
Third and 6. Garcia out of trouble, throws it away. And now it's 4th down, and now you have to bring the field goal unit onto the field.
I'll tell you what, once Garcia steps up and he starts moving out to the right, he had a lot of room to run the football. He might have been able to run that in himself, but I can tell you that it puts tremendous amount of pressure on these defensive backs when they see the quarterback with time to throw, knowing that they've got to maintain the coverage.
I think he walks in the corner of the end zone if he takes off. That defensive lineman wasn't going to catch him.
25-yard try from Chandler. 8 out of 12 on the season. No problems, bad left ankle and all. Jeff Garcia has just been on fire, moving the 49ers up and down the field like Collins was doing with the Giants in the first half. 25-yarder from Chandler is good to make it a 5-point game. Short kick. Very short. And Joyce on the run takes it at the 20. A decent field position at the 36 for the Giants. Has turned into a nail-biter, a 5-point difference, and the Giants now on offense forced to go back to work. They've done nothing lately. Pass is complete to Shockey.
Well, this drive right here is going to test these offensive players for the Giants, and it's also going to test Jim Fossil in how he's going to call this series of plays. And I like that he comes out on 1st down and gets the ball into Shockey, and now they're in 2nd and short. It opens up a lot of things that you can do from a play calling perspective.
2nd and 4. Total yards dead even. Barber tiptoes and fights forward for what appears to be a 1st down. Brought down right at the marker, a good spot. It looked like Barber got the 1st down, and he did.
Give Jim Morris some credit, though. His shift in defensive philosophy away from the man-to-man coverage and back into this cover 2 zone has really slowed down the passing game. The problem is that allows you to run the football. So this may well be a time for Tiki Barber to start taking over the game, running the ball.
That's Campbell out of the backfield. And Dan, who was last seen kicking his helmet along the sideline, has a 9-yard pickup brought down by Mike Rumpf.
And that's the big key, is what they're doing right now on 1st down is they're staying ahead of the game and just thinking about moving the chains. On that 1st down play earlier, they pick up 6-7 yards. Here they pick up 9 yards. Actually, they pick up 10 yards to get a 1st down. And so they're doing a nice job of staying ahead in the down and distance.
Jim Morris Sr. watching his son's defense try and stop the Giants again. 1st down, New York. Barber right up the gut. Big hole up the middle, covers up the football, and has another 1st down.
Well, that time the 49ers came with a blitz. and Tiki Barber was able to hit it just right up the gut. They bring the pressure off the corner, and Derek Smith literally runs himself right out of the play trying to cover for the stunt down inside.
I think one of the things that the Giants are going to be doing right now is they're going to be keeping their eye. That's why they're still in the huddle. They're keeping their eye on the 25-second clock. Right now it's at 14, and counting down and try to take as much time off this clock as they can.
See if they keep it on the ground on first down. They do. Barber covers up, and he's brought down by Bryant Young. No gain on the play.
Jim Mora won the guessing game that time because they were back in their man coverage and brought the 8th man up in the box. I think Kerry Collins has to be willing in that situation when he sees that man-to-man coverage on the outside to check to a pass, because these guys have not been able to cover these Giants receivers man-to-man all day. Now they're back in the zone.
That's Shockey up top on second down, and Collins goes right to him, and he fights for the ball again and gets it. Brought down inside the 25.
And that is a great throw by Kerry Collins. Mike Rumpf goes to jump that, and if he leads him on the throw, there's a good chance this one's intercepted. He reads the play. He throws it to his backside. And Jeremy Shockey, being the athlete that he is able to snag that ball.
That may have been a pretty good throw. That was one unbelievable catch. That guy's hands are so strong. He gets hit and catches more balls than anybody I've seen in a long time.
3rd and 2. Barber. Look to be short of the first down. He is. By about a yard.
Yeah, and that's an area of this offensive line that they have struggled. They just have not really been able to move people out in the running game, and it's hurt them in these short yardage situations, not only today but over the season.
Now Barber's slow in getting up after the play. They've stopped the clock because of the injury.
Boy, this is going to be one major decision for Jim Fossil if this is not a first down as they have it marked. Do you go for the field goal and try and make it 8, or do you go for the first down and try and run out the clock?
Well, by the way they've marked the football, this is not a first down.
No, it doesn't
not
look
even
like
close.
It would be. And you know, Chris, to answer your question, if it's me, I say, hey, the 49ers have to score a touchdown anyway if they're going to win this game, and I say you go for it and try to pick this first down up and win the game.
But as it is, Matt Bryant's coming out.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to agree with Jim Fossil on this one, because even if they score a touchdown coming back the other way, they still have to hit the 2-point conversion to beat you, as long as Matt Bryant can make this one. You miss it, though, the 49ers get great field position.
Second worst percentage in the league from this distance, this range. 42-yard try. Awful. Yanked wide left. Bad snap. Allen got it up, and Bryant hooked it left.
And I think that's another reason why you go for it and try to pick up the first down. They've had problems with snaps. They've had problems with holds. They've not been consistent kicking the football. Right now, as you mentioned, Chris, they give the 49ers good field position, and I don't know, you'd like to have a little confidence in your group that on 4th and 1 you can pick that up, and had they have gone for it and made it, they're able to win this football game.
That's just a choke shot right there by Matt Bryant. That's as close to a shank as you can get.
Well, they bring in Trey Junkin, who's been in the league 19 years during the week, signed him as a long snapper. There's question as to whether Bober would stay as the kick center. They went with Junkin, and he just unleashed a bad one. Now down by 5. Garcia steps up, throws, and hits. That's Williams making a strong tackle on J.J. Stokes.
And the good thing is that Sean Williams was able to keep J.J. Stokes from getting out of bounds. So the clock is still running, but a good tackle by Sean Williams and not allowing J.J. Stokes to get any more yardage or get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Each side with 2 timeouts remaining. 2nd down and 6. That ball skipped in, incomplete, with Streets the intended receiver.
And I don't know what Jeff Garcia's doing. I really don't. You've got Terrell Owens on the outside. Jason Sehorn playing off coverage. He was wide open. It was an easy pitch and catch. I know you want to try and distribute the football, but it's down to championship time. And right now, when you get this kind of a coverage on your star player, you've got to throw him the football.
The best team in the league during the season on third down, the 49ers. 4 of 11 on third down today.
Here's Terrell Owens.
36. Pass is caught. There's Terrell Owens, and there's a first down.
Yeah, Will Peterson that time on Terrell Owens, and pretty physical, holding him up at the line of scrimmage, but Terrell's such a big physical guy that it takes more than that in order to keep him from getting separation.
This 2-minute warning from their own 43, first down. Garcia lets it fly, and it's out of the reach of Ty Streets.
Well, he had him too. He had a chance at Ty Streets. Ty Streets had a step again on Jason Sehorn, and Jeff Garcia just pulls it a little bit and is unable to get him the ball. And better look, but he's got 3 steps on Sehorn.
You know, but Terrell Owens again was one-on-one and open, running across the middle of the field. I guess they're thinking they'd rather have Sehorn on anybody rather than Terrell Owens on anybody.
Second down and 10. Pass complete to Johnson, the tight end. He's at midfield. 3 yards shy of a first down. Again, the 49ers with 2 timeouts remaining.
And right now, this Giants pass rush is just not getting the job done. They haven't sacked Garcia all day long, and they're playing against 2 backups in there.
Third down and 3. Quick setup, and left alone is Johnson, the tight end. Down the sidelines and out of bounds inside the 30.
Troy, that's probably the most basic play in the NFL playbook. A slant, and the tight end released into the flat, and what happens was the corner, Will Peterson, runs underneath to the slant, and nobody is out there on the tight end Johnson.
Well, it looked like Will Peterson is playing man. Everyone else was playing zone. That's why it opens up that spot. Nobody there to make the play. That should have been Will Peterson, that is. It should have been there.
From the 25, Garcia. Jeff Garcia. First down, San Francisco. And Garcia's going to spend a timeout. You see the Giants defenders standing around with their hands on their hips, sucking wind, but they get a break.
You see the man-to-man coverage right here. Everybody's locked up. And that's what creates the space for Garcia to get up inside, move. All the defenders have their backs to
Watch
Garcia.
this one right here. Mike Barrow is in man coverage and is turning and running away from Garcia as he's running down the field. He never even sees him coming.
And once he does, Garrison Hurst, who he was covering, turns back around and makes the block, which allows Garcia to get up a little bit more. Did you see it right there? Right here's the block that Garrison Hurst puts on him.
Tremendous play, though, by Sean Williams. Once I saw that block, I thought it was either going to be a clip or a touchdown, and Sean Williams just came flying out of nowhere to save it. That is one great tackle because he really didn't have the angle at all on Garcia, who runs pretty well.
The ball at the 13. First down, San Francisco. 1:10 left. Garcia fires, and it's incomplete. Stokes, the intended receiver. Should the 49ers come back in this game, it would be the 2nd biggest playoff comeback victory in NFL history and tied for the 5th biggest comeback overall. You know what the biggest comeback was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills coming back to beat Houston 41-38 back in '93, and Warren Moon, who was the quarterback for the Oilers, is here at this stadium today doing the radio call.
Yes, he was. I saw him before the game, and We wound up beating Buffalo that year in the Super Bowl.
2nd down and 10. Garcia fires. Touchdown 49ers. They've come all the way back. It's streaks. A late flag comes in after the play.
And Terrell Owens on that play after the touchdown started taunting Sean Williams, and Sean Williams attacked him. I don't know if they're going to see the TO taunt, which is going to lead to a penalty, but then if Sean Williams doesn't react to it, they're going to gain 15 yards on the play.
So the touchdown will stand. It was after the play. And the question is, who will be flagged? What part did they see?
They're still going at it. They need to get Sean Williams out of there.
If it's against the 49ers, well, we'll just wait and see. But Sean Williams did climb back toward Terrell Owens, and now Owens is looking at the 49ers sideline saying, everybody calm down, and I think he's talking to himself more than anyone. So here's the call from Ron Winter.
Two separate fouls on the play. Number 81, offense, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 36, unnecessary roughness, defense. Those two fouls will offset on the kickoff.
And a huge mistake by Sean Williams, because that 15 yards would have just been invaluable. Jeff Garcia did a fantastic job on this one. Terrell Owens was double teamed to the inside. He found the single receiver, threw it to the outside shoulder of Ty Streets. Just perfect execution by Jeff Garcia. What a second half he's had.
And now going for two yet again. The 49ers 2 for 2 on this today. Trying to make it a 3-point game. And they cannot. Plays dead. And it's a 1-point.
There's another penalty. Terrell Owens, I do not believe it. Terrell Owens with a personal foul.
And then Omar Stoudemire, he gets into the middle of it again as well.
Same exact situation. Same exact situations. If the Giants don't retaliate, they're going to gain 15 yards, and they can't keep their cool. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous for professional football players to blow that situation 2 times in a row. And Terrell Owens, well, we all know that is ridiculous at times.
The ball is dead. The play's dead. And then it's Owens shoving Allen out of bounds. And then Stoudemire comes over and climbs on top of Owens.
So both safeties, and you can't blame them for wanting to defend their teammates, but you've got to understand the situation. And now they're going to go at it again. It's just ridiculous. I mean, you've got to keep your cool out there.
There are 2 separate fouls on this play after the try was over. Unnecessary roughness, number 81, San Francisco. Unnecessary roughness, number 36 of New York. By virtue of his actions, number 36 has disqualified himself.
But, Chris, as you said, he's also cost his team 15 big yards, where all the Giants need is a field goal to possibly win the game. And in essence, the unnecessary roughness by Owens is just erased because of the work that the safeties did for the New York Giants.
That's like getting an interception and turning around and handing the ball back to the guy. It is just so dumb. I can't even get over it. And maybe if it only happened once, the first one you say, all right, they're frustrated. But once it happens once, you don't come back 30 seconds later and do the same stupid thing again.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think you do it the first time either. And, you know, it's time for these guys to grow up. I mean, they know going into a game, going into a season, that this is a point of emphasis. It's going to be called. You've got to know the coaches talk to you. You've got to be smart and play the game. And dumb players lose football games.
All right, I'm going to settle down now and start focusing in on the game. That makes me nutty. That just makes me nutty because you're killing your football team. You guys work the entire season, and you're going to give it away to something stupid like that.
Chandler with a short kickoff again. This is Delvin Joyce from the 15. Big return from Joyce. And now here are the Giants with a ball outside their own 45. And now here's more junk after the play. Unbelievable that that would continue.
But at least his teammates here. Now, well, Chris Bober's going to beat up his own guy. At least Bober knows what's going on.
Jim Fossil needs to get a hold of this team and get them under control, as does Steve Mariucci, because it's absolutely ridiculous. But to get back to the game, how big is it that the 49ers did not convert and get the two-point conversion? Now, with plenty of time on the clock, 2 timeouts, the Giants can move 20 yards and put themselves in position to win this game.
Starting at their own 48. Pass is complete. Depends on the spot as to whether it's a first down, but it's Ron Dixon.
Terry's having a hard time getting the play out to Jeremy Shockey and these wide receivers.
It was a first down catch by Dixon. The throw for Toomer. A fight for the ball. And the ball comes out. It's incomplete. It looked like Plummer had it for a moment, but it's ruled incomplete.
And the field judge was about to call that one an interception. He was reaching for the beanbag, which would have indicated an interception. And the other 2 officials came in and waved him off.
Well, Monty Toomer does a great job of playing defensive back on this play. And right there you see the ball's got to stay in possession. Ahmed Plummer, and it doesn't. It comes out.
He thought that there was an interception when you throw the beanbag.
Well, he was getting ready to call it an interception, but I don't believe that it was.
Thing upstairs. You can challenge this. I'm surprised the replay official.
But he never had possession of it, Chris.
On 2nd down and 10. Now there's a penalty flag.
Absolutely. That is the job of the replay official upstairs. And had that snap been run before the replay official buzzed in, they could not have reviewed the play.
Well, they should have had some time on the clock then. If they didn't let them run it, there was seconds that came off the clock when they snapped the ball there. If they're going to review this play, they should add time to the clock.
Fair game. Offense. Penalty. And then 2nd down.
He never had possession, and you could see the point of the football touching the ground. But you go back to a game in Cleveland a few years ago. Remember that whole thing when the buzzer didn't sound in time and that whole controversy?
2nd and 15. Wide open is Dixon. A first down inside the 30, and the Giants will call a timeout. And now the focus goes back on the sideline, and it goes on the place kicker of the Giants, Matt Bryant.
And I tell you what, I do not stop my offense right now. I think that Matt Bryant is still on the very fringe of his range. I'm still playing offense and trying to gain more yardage.
No, I think that they will, but they have time for 1, maybe 2 plays before they're going to have to at least attempt the field goal. Nice job, Ron Dixon, finding a spot in that zone. Kerry Collins hanging in the pocket, getting him the football. Huge play there to put him in a position to at least attempt a field goal if they don't lose any more yards from here.
And the value of having Ron Dixon, the veteran, back in there and not having Darryl Jones in the game.
The ball at the San Francisco 28, 1st and 10. The Giants with 1 timeout left. Collins throws it down the field. Toomer, incomplete. A lot of pressure on Collins, who just threw it up.
Well, Jim Fossil missed on this one because they run a rollout with Kerry Collins to move the pocket, but they move him right into where the blitz was coming. They were coming off the edge, and it's a double move on the outside against Ahmed Plummer with Toomer, and carry, throws it up, but it gives him no chance. The ball's out of bounds.
But I thought he had Ron Dixon in the flat right away, which had to be the hot read in that situation.
Well, Carey's got to be smart here. There's only 9 seconds in the game. He cannot take much time getting rid of this football.
And if the receiver catches it, he has to get down.
Quick setup and throw. And out of bounds is Toomer. The ball will be marked at the 23-yard line, which would make it roughly a 40-yard field goal try. Coming into this game and during the regular season, Matt Bryant was 9 for 9, attempting field goals in the fourth quarter and overtime, which includes the game winner last week, a 39-yarder.
Well, and just know that based on the rule put in this year, that regardless of whether he makes it or misses, there will be 1 second left on the clock.
San Francisco will spend their final timeout and try to ice Bryant. And how many Giants fans and 49er fans, for that matter, are thinking back to the 1990 NFC Championship game, which took place the 20th of January in '91. The Giants defeating San Francisco on Matt Barr's field goal, a 42-yarder. Allen will place the ball at the 31, making this a 41-yard try. Trey Junkin snapping it. Bad snap. Allen couldn't get it down, and now he fires.
Pass interference. They're going to get pass interference on that play.
And even with no time left on the clock, a penalty on the defense will continue the game.
There's another flag down, though, on this side of the field.
Probably had illegal man down the field.
It is an eligible man downfield.
And that offsets.
The 49ers celebrate. Some fans get on the field as the referee, Ron Winter, will give us the call.
Illegal man downfield on the offense, number 65. By rule, the game is over.
Joe, let me tell you the mistake that was made that time by the holder. There was 6 seconds on the clock. It was 3rd down. Once the snap was muffed, if he stands up and throws the ball into the ground, you have an incomplete pass, and they could have had a second opportunity to kick that football. Right now, all you have to do is raise up, spike it down in the ground, and you get a second opportunity right then, right there. A blown job that time by Allen.
Adding Trey Junkin during the week. 2 poor snaps, the latest one wide on that 41-yard attempt. And Junkin, who's been in the NFL for 19 years, was in camp with Dallas. 2 poor snaps that may have cost the Giants a chance to advance in the playoffs. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Jeff Garcia said, let's go, so let's go. Sum it up. What in the world are you feeling right now?
Just awesome. You know, it was a never die attitude, and we got down big. The Giants are a great football team. They've really come a long way as compared to where we saw them the first week. But you talk about guys just stepping up and continuing to fight. An all-out effort. Defense came up with big stops in the second half. Gave us a chance to make plays. Offensive line, receivers, everybody just kept going, fighting. What can I say? It's awesome.
Down 24 points. How were you able to keep your wits about you and that offense not go in the tank and come back for the drives that you were able to?
I think one thing you have to realize, you're not going to make 3 touchdowns in one play. You have to just go one play at a time. We had lots of time. It was a matter of just executing. They allowed me to throw the football. We started to get into some sort of rhythm. Guys were making plays. Offensive line did a great job all day long of giving me time to do what I needed to do. Just a great feeling right now.
Where does this victory rank?
It means we're going to Tampa, I believe so. So we're just excited about this big win. This is just, it's a great feeling. Nothing compares to this right now. But it's going to be short-lived because we have a tough situation to go into next week, and we're going to be ready for that.
You survived this one. Thanks, Jeff. Let's go back up to Joe.
All right, Pam. Jeff Garcia was absolutely tremendous in the second half, and on that final drive, got what he wanted, telling us he wanted to get a 3rd wide receiver on the field. He did. Game got crazy at the end with the unnecessary roughness calls with the scramble at the end with 6 seconds remaining, a 41-yard try and another bad snap.
Here's the ineligible guys downfield. Once you clear that zone, then anything else that happens down the field is moot.
Meaning that even with what was originally called a pass interference, they threw a flag down there, was wiped out because of the ineligible players downfield.
Right. It was an ineligible receiver that was downfield that was being the receiver on the throw, and so it could not have pass interference on an ineligible receiver, and that's why it was not a factor in the call.
But let's talk about this play, because this is something, Troy, that every NFL team practices every single day during special teams, and that is the fire drill. As soon as the play breaks down, the people on the line of scrimmage can't go downfield. You've got to know it was third down. You could dump the ball into the ground and eliminate any problems whatsoever. They could have kicked the ball again, absolutely blown by the special teams.
There's the Giants bench reacting to what they thought was a pass interference call, but wiped out because the receiver was ineligible.